Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. The Colts game, thriller, one after the siren. Railways 5-5, 35, defeated Towns 5-4, 34. In the reserves, good win to Towns. Towns 10-5, 65, defeated Railways 7-4, 46. And in the women's game, Towns 5-12, 42, defeated Railways 3 goals straight, 18. Up at Northampton, the Percher International Oval is the place to be for the 6th place Rams confronting the undefeated topside Rovers. In earlier games to this point, in the Colts, Northampton 11-13, 79, defeated Rovers 2-7, 31. In the reserves, it was Rovers 8 goals, 6-54, defeated Northampton 4-4, 28. And in the women, it was Rovers 8 goals, 10, 58, defeated Northampton 1 goal, 1-7. The final game of the round is out at Mullawa Oval with the Saints taking on Brigades. Mullawa sitting on the bottom of the premiership table looking for a win, their first of the season. Brigades sitting nicely in 3rd spot at the moment. And in earlier games today in the Colts, Mullawa back in the winners' circle. Mullawa 8-8, 56, defeated Brigades 5-9, 39. And in the reserves, Brigades 16 goals, 13, 109 have just defeated Mullawa 2 goals, 113. But the big one here this afternoon is a very entertaining game indeed. Railways, very good form last week. They went down to the league leaders by 3 points. Rovers in a thrilling contest out there at Daimler Truck Glenelg Oval. And I'm joined in commentary this afternoon by Matt Paddock and also Pete Fiorenza. Great game last weekend, Pete.
Yeah, fantastic game last week, Glenn. Probably the best one we've seen so far this season. You just didn't know who was going to win until the final moments, and that's just not just a cliche. It was actually fact in the game. Rovers now go to 2 games clear on the premiership table. Of course, they're a game in front of Railways. Railways will try and make amends for that today, but Towns might have other ideas, I reckon.
It's going to be an interesting one, Matt. Railways start favourites, of course. They're going pretty well. They went down last week, but the game could have gone either way, as Pete just mentioned. So a big test for them. Towns, they're on the cusp of the Final Four. They've got better percentage than Chapman Valley, and a win today would see them go into the Final Four.
Yeah, absolutely, and they'll certainly have the work out there for them. But, to play in finals footy, you've got to beat good teams, and Railways are certainly a good team, and I say that unbiased, I promise. But it'll be an interesting game. Both of them kind of play similar styles in that they both like to hold possession of the footy, work their way up the ground like that. And so I think as we get a bit of a serenade in the background here, someone's birthday, happy birthday to them. But it'll certainly be an interesting contest, and we'll see who can get the ascendancy.
Railways bring in Mitch Boyle. He returns, so he'll be a welcome person into the side. And Railways pretty much unchanged. They've got the big fellas playing, Flynn Dillon, Liam Clarkson and Nathan Pletty. That's an interesting one where they're using all 3 big men today. That'll be an interesting one. Towns, on the other hand, probably a little bit lacking in the big band department. And they will be interesting to see how that plays out. The recreation ground's in reasonable condition, beautiful conditions for football, and should be a really quality game.
But there is a big late out for Towns, isn't there?
There is, yes.
Jalen Parsons.
Unavailable today, so that's unfortunate.
A big blow for them.
Because he kicked 7 goals in their last outing. We know what a key forward he is. And it was probably one of the reasons that Railways would have had the 3 big men in there, one of them to look after Jalen. But Jalen isn't available today, so he's been replaced. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We know that Towns are a young side, and they have put a few blokes back in the reserves. I noticed the reserve side was pretty well, probably 3 or 4 blokes to be pushing for league selection, I'd say, in the Towns reserves. And Towns this year seem to have, like a lot of clubs, going to draw their players from the Colts and bringing young players forward. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The umpires this afternoon for Sandra Carr MLC, the GNFL umpires, and plenty of experience amongst this lot. Darren Bryce, Darren Forrester and Randall Starling. We wish the GNFL umpires and Sandra Carr umpires all the best for the big one this afternoon. Should be a really good and entertaining game of footy. The Railways side are warming up at the Railways end of the ground, or the city end of the ground. Towns are warming up at the southern end of the ground, and it should be a very good contest. The umpires are waiting for the toss of the coin. Drew Forrester coming in to do the coin toss for Towns. He's the captain. And also for Railways, Jesse Adamini doing the coin toss for Railways. Both Jesse Adamini and Drew Forrester are in very good form amongst the vote getters in the Radio Mama Footballer of the Year with their votes last weekend. Umpires tossed the coin. Jesse Adamini has won the toss, and he's decided to kick to the southern end. But the breeze, Peter, you're a bit of an expert on the breeze.
About that. But I think it is favouring the Augusta Street end. The windsock is sort of got a light gust hitting it, but I'd say it's
looks like it's held back. Doesn't it?
It does. So we're not quite sure, but I think we can feel it in coming into our broadcasting area. So I think it's from a southeasterly direction, Glenn.
But blowing across the ground, but it's not a great
no, not at this
not
stage.
A great breeze.
It could swing around later in the game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. So the goal umpires are going into position. The field umpires are discussing what they're going to do, and so too are Towns and Railways. So we have Railways in the huddle and Towns in the huddle at the other end. In earlier games today, in these games here at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground in the Colts, it was a win by 1 point to Railways. In the reserves, a bit bigger win. Towns 65 defeated Railways 46. And in the women, Towns, they were under pressure for most of the game, but they were able to get away with kicking a few goals and getting a good margin on the end. Towns 5-12-42 have defeated Railways 3 goals straight, 18. There were games played in Perth yesterday in the women and in the men in the WA Country Footy League, playing the Perth Footy League, and it was a win to the Perth Footy League in both those games. And we had some representatives from the women's side from the Great Northern, and we congratulate them on their efforts. Olivia Bidwell was one of those, was amongst the better players. Also, some Chapman Valley girls, Andy Payne and Taylor Broadhurst. And there was a couple of other girls from Towns as well. And we congratulate them on being a part of the WA Country women's side, which is a great effort. They went down in the end by about 25 points. We're about to get the big one underway here on Radio Mama, and this is round 9 of the refuel, and we're doing it for Community Bank Geraldton in this first term. And our scoreboard today is brought to you by Adam Hunter Scoreboards, the accountant, and GPSC. They are also a major sponsor. Umpire Forrester holds the ball aloft, and we're about to get this first quarter underway. It's Railways in second spot, and Towns are in fifth spot. Ball goes high into the air, and Flynn Dillon does too, brings the ball to ground, then goes back in to retrieve it. Gets the handball away, under pressure, comes the way of Hebley. Hebley goes by hand, picks out a teammate there in Joshua DeLacy. DeLacy goes across towards centre wing where he finds Jay O'Brien. O'Brien goes a little bit further wide and gets Drew McGregor. McGregor gets it up towards half forward, just in front of the scoreboard. The Towns player gets caught in possession. He took too long to get rid of that, and the Railways defender will relieve the pressure for the Blues.
Yeah, they had a nice passage of play there then. Towns not able to finish it off. Just outside the defensive 50 for Railways. Goes toward the Francis Street side of the ground. The mark taken out there by Blake Messina. On the wing now. The ball going down the wing. Or will it? Players playing on now. Goes around the man on the mark. Coming inward, but goes the way of a Towns Guernsey. Towns back into attack now. They come laterally though. Going the way of Drew Forrester, the captain. He in turn gets it across to a teammate there in James Simmons. Simmons throws it up into the air, doesn't know where he's putting it, goes back the way of Forrester. He decides to restart that passage of play, gives it to DeLacy. DeLacy's caught in possession. The free kick will go the way of Darcy Giltro. He's been good since coming into the lineup, Giltro. The helmeted Giltro comes out laterally now to the way of Joseph Iaria. Iaria inboard to Mitch Boyle. 151 games for him today. He sends it across the ground on the Francis Street side now. The ball comes into the centre half forward position. And the nice mark is taken by Cody Giltro.
Ted Kerr,
sorry.
Ted Kerr with the ball, about 70 metres from goal. Ted kicks it up towards half forward, looking up there for the player there in Flynn Dillon, but the ball comes the way of Towns. Towns can get out of trouble now, out of the back line, go by hand, looking there for a teammate, the Towns player. They got the ball handball forward was Hugh Bertram. Comes back towards Towns now, goes the way of Callum Marquis. Marquis waits for a teammate to run past it, Leon Jones. Leon Jones draws a player, that's Jay O'Brien. O'Brien gets boot the ball, kicks it up towards half forward, but Railways are there in steady numbers, and the Railways player gets the ball out of defence, kicks it further up the field, but only as far as Drew McGregor on centre wing. McGregor kicks it up towards the forward pocket, looking up there for his coach in Bo Walker, but Bo Walker has interfered with the Railways player in Sam Scully. And Sam Scully, with 2.5 minutes gone in this first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, relieves the pressure for the Blues.
Matty Paddock with special comments. Matt, end-to-end footy at the moment, so nice structured footy.
Yeah, both teams are feeling each other out. I think it's been a hot footy so far. It seems both teams can't seem to get clean possession at it, and such is the pressure of the game at the moment. Shows what both teams, what this means for both teams at this stage. Obviously, Railways looking to bounce back after last week, and Towns looking to get their season back on track.
Out of the defensive area now, the ball goes the way of Railways. Down the wing in front of the grandstand, a nice mark is taken by Giltro. He pushes off the man in front of him, but now must go back behind the man on the mark. Giltro now. Down the wing in front of our broadcast position for Radio Mama. Up they go. In the middle is the big man in Flynn Dillon, but it goes away now of Caleb Sewell. I like this player. He gets it away to Forrester. Forrester, a nice kick straight down the middle of the ground, but doesn't make the intended target. The bounce is better for Railways, going the way of Scally. Scally in turn to a teammate who puts it onto his boot. Comes out the way now of Railways through the guys of Tunbridge, but Tunbridge sends it down the line and it finds the boundary. Coming inboard, it's got DeLacy's boot on it. Inside to Marquis. Marquis in turn over to Hebley. Hebley now weaves through a couple of players. He's been corralled out, but gets his foot onto the footy. He sends it inside the forward 50, but the Railways player is first in the race. He runs in to do even better on this occasion. Is the player there in Bo Walker. He spins around on a 50-cent piece. The ball spills free, but there's Scally. Scally mops up. He gets it now to this player, and Adamini. Adamini out of defence. Down the wing, almost wing side of the ground. It goes to ground. Players diving on top of each other. It's bottled up somewhat. The umpire says the player is, well, he was tackled high, and now a 50-metre penalty, and will go the way of the youngster there in Cody Giltro. The two Giltros had an impact since coming into this lineup. Giltro sees the lead. The lead is a nice one, and the mark is taken just inside the forward 50. I have a shot on goal now, and they're kicking toward the Shenton Street end, the southern end in this particular quarter are Railways. The player looking for options up front. A bit of a crowded goal square. Let's see what he can do. In it comes now. It's Ted Kerr. Up into the air it goes. Comes off hands. Goes to ground. The ball spills free. At the base of the pack. Is it Railways? No, it's Towns. It's Railways again. And it stacks on the middle. And there'll be a ball up in the shadows of the goals for Railways.
So they'll be keen to get a score while they have it up there. Ball comes up from the throw-up. Goes the way now of Railways. Railways get a handball out. Looking there for Sean Fletcher. Fletcher goes through traffic. Took them on, and he'll be caught in possession. And Sean Fletcher gets the ball taken away from him. So the ball goes the way of the Towns youngster. So Towns have the ball now. And they kick it forward, but it's turned over. Sean Fletcher grabs it, kicks it forward. Ball bouncing free.
Ted Kerr,
opportunity there for Jace Price, but the ball goes through the wrong side of the post, and a minus score only. And on the Adam Hunter scoreboard in this first term, we see Railways are one behind, and Towns are yet to open their account. This first term, with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton on Radio Mama, your home of GNFL footy. Glenn Barden, Peter Forenza, and Matt Paddock calling the footy this afternoon. Beautiful afternoon in Geraldton, the recreation ground. Couldn't ask for a better day for footy. And the ball's now with Robert Bonney. Bonney kicks it forward, looking up there for Raymond Bonney. Raymond Bonney gets a handball out, goes the way of Hugh Bertram. Ball turned over, goes the way of Flynn Dillon. He slaps it out, comes the way of Fletcher. Sean Fletcher, that is. Beautiful kick towards goal.
Nice
magnificent goal from 45 to 50 metres out. And Sean Fletcher, magnificent goal. The old torpedo punt had the beautiful way it went through the goal. And a great goal. That will do Sean Fletcher's confidence no world of harm. And a very strong performance there from Sean Fletcher.
The results of a lot of pressure, Matt, put on that area of the ground. The Towns' defence were at 6s and 7s, and Sean Fletcher certainly took advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. The repeat inside 50s from Railways. Towns did well to defend, but yeah, just got caught in the end there, and a bit of individual brilliance there from Fletcher, to put a tail on it and get it to sail through the big sticks. It was a good piece of play.
Yeah, Matthew Paddock bringing us some of our comments this afternoon. Of course, the breeze not really a factor here this afternoon at the moment. Coming across the ground, a slight breeze from a southwest, I should say, south-easterly direction. The ball going forward for Towns now. Can they counteract as the ball comes into the half-forward area? Comes off the boot of the player there in Jay O'Brien into the half-forward area. Can he run onto it? We're talking about Callum Marquis. He's unable to do so. The defence under the guise of Messina is quickly dragged down. And Caleb Sewell is figuring early. He's got a bit of pedigree, but he's also got a bit of talent from that pedigree. But that kick certainly didn't answer that description, that's for sure. The ball goes to ground, though, going to make Caleb Marquis. He's pretty wrapped up pretty quick. The umpire says advantage played, and it comes out of the friends pretty easily. But there he is again. We're talking about this player. He's promised a lot in his career, and Joshua DeLacy, he sort of built himself up a little bit, which is good to see, showing a bit of talent as he sends it down in front of the grandstand. A few players go up into the air. No one can take the mark. Sewell, who I've mentioned earlier, at the base of that pack. And the umpire comes in to relieve the pressure.
Umpire Bryce puts the ball into the air and a whistle on play. A free kick's been pecked out. Go the way of Railways. And the player with the free kick is Flynn Dillon. Right on centre wing, just in front of the Colin Scruffy Burgess grandstand here at the recreation ground. Ball goes forward. And Ted Kerr takes a good mark on centre wing, just in front of our Radio Mama broadcast box here at the recreation ground. And we've got the best seats in the house again as the ball goes forward.
Nice
goes the way of Messina, who's been in very good form this year. Blake Messina been playing good footy this year. He takes them on and then he gets a kick forward. Kicks it up towards full forward, does the player there. But the ball goes off hands and there'll be a boundary throw in deep in the right forward pocket, about 25 metres around from the right point post at the southern end of the ground. 1 goal, 1. That's 7 are Railways. Towns yet to open their account. We've played 9 minutes in this first term. Ball comes back into play from the throw-in. In goes the Towns player. Gets a handball out, and Drew Forrester goes the way of Rex Hebley.
Ooh.
Hebley gets a handball forward, but puts his teammate under pressure. Picked up now by Railways. Railways player in Cody Giltro shoots towards goal on his left boot, but the ball bounces the wrong side of the post. And another minus score on the Adam Hunter accountant scoreboard. Railways are 1 goal, 2-8, and Towns are yet to open their account.
Earlier on, Messina, I think, filming footy would have caught all of that. He kicked his player on the mark right in the chest, so the umpire was unsighted, so quite interesting that one. He was able to continue with the free kick after that, but anyway, the ball on the far side now is with Towns. Towns down the Francis Street wing. Slowing things down somewhat. They probably do need to. The scoreboard reading 1-2-8 Railways. Towns yet to open their account. Towns against a slight breeze. In fact, they do have a slight breeze at their back, I should say. Coming down the ground, goes away of Hebley. Hebley throws it out pretty quickly. Didn't think about that one. Goes back the way of Kerr. Kerr for Railways. Finds Giltro. Giltro down the wing. Finds a teammate. Just inside the pocket there, just inside the forward 50, spins around, shoots on goal, in the goal square, yes, a nice mark is taken, and the mark is taken by Liam Clarkson. So Liam Clarkson, the son of Wayne Cooley Clarkson, is about to have a shot on goal, and Glenn is directly in front, and he shouldn't miss this one.
No, he shouldn't, and Liam Clarkson on a point-blank range right on the goals line. So Liam kicking to the southern end of the ground, gets it through, and a good bit of play there from Railways. They move the ball forward, and a good bit of play there from the Blues. They got the ball forward, and Railways starting to take a little bit of tension on the scoreboard.
And that was Cody Giltro that got that ball in from the pocket, Glenn. So both the Giltro boys impacting early.
Yeah, 2 Dongra boys. Their father, Chris, used to play for Railways and played for a lot of years for the Railways Footy Club, a great servant of the Blues. And now his 2 boys are doing likewise, playing good footy for his Railways side.
Railways slightly getting on top now, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. They've been able to adjust to the game just a fraction quicker. I think Towns are looking a little bit hesitant with their ball movement at this stage. Not that Railways have been able to play their brand of football either. So it's unusual that both teams are looking to play a quick brand. As we saw there, Railways just able to slow it down a fraction and then were able to get a score, so perhaps we'll see more of that.
Yeah. Ball back in the centre. Umpire Starling puts it into the air. Railways quickly away through Jace Price. Feeds a handball out. Goes the way of Priolo. Priolo quicks it up towards centre wing. Priolo was dealt with after he got rid of the ball, and the free kick was seen up the ground, so the umpire's been pretty quick on that this afternoon as Railways go deep into attack, and Liam Clarkson takes a good strong mark. 45 metres out. Clarkson goes back, looking for some movement.
The big fella's come to play today.
There goes the big kick from Clarkson, up towards full forward. Sean Fletcher's there, bounces away from him. Ball still in the danger zone. Towns go in. Towns defence under a heap of pressure as Railways continually bring the ball forward and get it into their forward 50. Umpire Starling to put the ball into the air again, only 25 metres from the danger zone. Picked up now by Towns. Towns player has the ball held to him. That's James Simmons. Didn't have prior opportunity, umpires, to come in and throw the ball up. Cody Giltro putting good pressure on Simmons on that occasion. Ball thrown up. Goes the way of Clarkson, slaps it to ground. Picked up now by Bo Walker for Towns. He feeds a handball out towards Forrester. Forrester kick goes towards full centre of the ground, but it's cut off. And Cody Ditchburn is that player. He goes a short pass, finds Blake Messina on half forward. He goes by hand, feeds a handball out to Darcy Rowe. Darcy Rowe from half back, kicks it towards full forward, but there's been pushing, and it goes against Railways, and Towns get the free kick through Jake Chapman.
The defender getting a free kick.
Unusual.
Yeah, unusual, but it's there, Glenn, and it certainly was a free kick for sure. The ball going outside the defensive 50 now for Railways. Towns starting to struggle to get some traction. Now, could this be the start of a nice passage of play? Forrester involved in most passages, successful ones this afternoon to this point. He goes out to the wing. He finds that player. We need something from him. I mentioned it earlier, talking about Joshua DeLacy. A cricketer of note as well, a sportsman of note. He sends it inboard, finds Hebley. Hebley's been welcomed into the Towns kennel, you could say, the Bulldogs kennel, as it comes out back to Hebley now. He sends it down the wing. And a nice mark is taken down there on this occasion by Robert Carlos McDonald. McDonald now. You can see something up front. He's going to go over the top of a series of defenders for Railways, and he does so and finds Bonnie. And on this occasion, no, it's Leon Jones who takes the mark. Leon Jones. Just outside the forward 50. He's going for a short pass, one would think. Is it successful? Maybe he should have shot for goal because it misses the intended target, goes to ground, mopped up by the defenders, one would think, as they take it toward the boundary and find the white line. So, a bit unusual there, Leon Jones. I thought he would have had a shot on goal there. Matt?
Yeah, I think... I don't necessarily think it was a bad option, but perhaps the kick wasn't quite on line. But Towns really need to make an opportunity out of this. It's the first time it's been inside 50 in a while.
The ball coming out of defence now, straight off the boot of the player there in Rowe, down the line, and comes inboard to Railways. Railways Messina. He's been good this season so far. Sends it inboard again. Teammate gets a handball away to a player that's quickly mopped up, and that's the player there who did pretty well on that occasion, and that's Blake Bunter, but he was not quick enough on this occasion and quickly gathered up. The ball going now to Marquis in the long sleeves. He sends it into the half-forward area. One player against two. The Towns forward will win out. That's DeLacy. I really like this fella. I think you've worked that out by now. He sends it into the half-forward area. The full forward comes out. Couldn't take the mark. The ball spills free. Defence just mop it up. Going the way of Scally. Puts it onto his boot. He sends it to the outer side. Mark is eventually played to the Railways custodian out there. So, Railways on top here in the middle to late stages of the first term, thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. They send it inboard, and there's Adamini. The bearded Adamini in the middle of the ground. He's looking for options. Those options he sees. The lead is by Giltro, but there's Simmons. He outpoints him on this occasion. This boy's probably capable of a little bit more. He's got his Guernsey ripped a little. I think it's just the advertising on the back.
Road runner.
The ball goes to
Mechanical.
the Francis Street side as they go crisscross the ground to Towns, but it was a good decision as Ted Kerr sends it inboard. In a deep defence, the mark is taken by the defender once again in Jake Chapman. Chapman comes out now to McDonald. McDonald down the line. He finds Raymond Bonnie. Now, they need to run with the ball. These blokes can run, and they need to do it. He sends it in the vicinity of Faithful. Faithful just back from a bit of a surgeon. Is quickly gathered up. The ball will be thrown up just in front of our broadcast and my co-broadcaster in Mr. Football, Glenn Barndon.
Yes, I'm sure Faithful would rather be on the beach in Bali than getting tackled like that, but he's jumped up pretty well. Ball goes the way of Fletcher. Fletcher gets his kick forward, but a good bit of play there against Simmons. And Simmons being very solid back there at the moment, one of Towns' better players at the moment. So James Simmons in defence, and the defenders are getting a fair work out there for the Bulldogs. He centres the ball,
Good choice.
and he finds Heavily, Rex that is. Rex plays on, goes out wide, looking out there for Jay O'Brien, finds that player on half-back, Francis Street side. Towns are going to the city end. He gets a short pass, picks it out, goes the way of Robert Bonney. Bonney gets a kick forward, looking up there for a teammate in Noah Middleton. Middleton goes by hand, looking up there for Marquis. Marquis in the long sleeves, couldn't handle the ball, and Railways can regroup through Ryan. Gets the ball forward. He goes the way now of Fletcher. Back to Mitchell Boyle, back to Fletcher. Overused the ball. Ball still running free. Towns have an opportunity now through Rex Hebley. Hebley kicks the ball forward, but the Railways defender cuts it off and does well. Feeds it out, finds Darcy Rowe. Rowe goes by hand to Tunbridge. Tunbridge goes by hand, looking for the player there in Bunter. Darcy Rowe goes back in to retrieve it. In goes Giltro. He's tackled and has the ball held to him. And the umpire will come in and throw the ball up. And umpire to throw the ball up is umpire Bryce.
Time ticking away. 18 and a half minutes gone, and this is the first term. Ball coming in from the broadcast side. Free kick is going the way of McDonald. McDonald now looking for options down the ground. The goal here to Towns would be good coming into the quarter time break. Gives it away to Hebley, one of the Hebleys. He goes one way, then the other, onto his boot. Not a great targeted kick, but it goes the way of a teammate who gets away with it. Forrester's going to run into an open goal, or is he? He goes straight across the face. He had a month of Sundays, but he did not know that, so Matty Paddock, and he missed all and sundry.
Yeah, he did, but I think that's more of what Towns need to do. They're missing Jalen Parsons out there, and structurally they're not looking as strong going up forward. So a bit of that chaos ball might be the way to go up forward for them.
Glenn, I'm no expert, but I think a little Jay O'Brien up there might pay dividends. What do you reckon?
Yeah, possible, yeah, but he's playing a bit of a midfield role, and they're trying to get the ball up there. But, they are getting the ball in there, but not being very efficient. They haven't scored a goal yet, but the game's still within reach. It's 2 goals to 14 to Railways, and no score to Towns. We're heading towards time on in this first quarter with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. Beautiful conditions for football. Ball comes the way now of Messina for Railways. He goes by hand, gives it to a teammate there in Dillon, Flynn Dillon that is. Kicks the ball forward, gives Giltro an opportunity, but Giltro's got one to beat there. There's 3 Railways players. Giltro's held on. Ball comes back, and Railways defence, who's been good this afternoon, gets it out towards Bunter. Bunter gets it the way of Ted Kerr with a short left foot kick. Ted Kerr on centre wing, looking for some movement. There goes Kerr's kick up towards half forward, looking up there for Nathan Paletti. Nathan Paletti was held by Simmons, so Paletti will take the free kick on centre wing. Just in front of the broadcast box here and timekeeper's box. So Nathan Paletti looking to get the ball up. It won't be a long quarter because there hasn't been a lot of scoring in this first term. Ball goes the way of Flynn Dillon. Uses his strength. He runs forward, takes the big mark, which he does so well. Now he kicks it forward, looking up there for Jesse Adamini. Adamini takes the mark. Umpire said play on. Ball comes the way of the Railways player who shoots on goal, and that was a point. And Bo Walker, Ted Kerr kicked the point, but the umpire saw that as well, and we'll see the free kick. Good to see the umpires working together to work that one out. And the ball comes back, and Drew McGregor is the player who will bring the ball back into play when the ball is retrieved.
I don't know what the confusion was. It looked like a point straight away for me. But
but I think the goal umpire was unsighted. He must have lost the flight of the ball.
Right.
And he didn't actually know which way it went, so he was asking for a little bit of assistance from the field umpires. Ball comes the way of Drew McGregor, the defender who usually plays on the wing, gets the ball out, goes out wide, looking there for a teammate. So time running out, but Towns going in at quarter time scoreless at this stage.
Thanks to Community Bank Geraldton, the only face-to-face bank, especially on a Saturday morning. Great supporters of local football and our major supporters of the GNFL as well, as Radio Mumma's broadcast here on a Saturday. Drennan O'Malley game day, the ball in the middle goes away of Fletcher now. The custodian for Railway sends it forward, but there's McDonald. He's pushed down on the mark, picked up now by the little speedster who runs through, Blake Bunter. He is pushed off the ball, goes away now of Towns. The Towns defence are holding up strong, whether they can keep it up, because the Fords need to do their part of the bargain as well, because they can't handle this all game. So in deep defence now, I think it's with Jay O'Brien. He's playing at both ends of the ground, this fella. I reckon a small forward work up front when the ball goes up there. He could do some damage, but he's working hard elsewhere at the moment. The ball comes in, goes away at Bonnie. In the middle, a player is quickly brought to ground. He was at 6s and 7s, and the free kick will go the way of Railways Fletcher. Fletcher now in the middle of the ground. In the cricket pitch. Sees Adamini on the lead, but alas, the siren sounds, and it is quarter time in Adrenaline O'Malley game day. And at quarter time, it is all Railways. Railways 2-3. 16, I should say. That's 12-35, 15, 2-3-15. And they lead Towns yet to open their account. And you're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football. Live on Radio Mama, it's your GNFL match of the day. Thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors.
We've been tearing up since way back when. These wheels are innocent. New hits, new...
Valley Motors game day on Radio Mama and Radio Geraldton. We're the home of GNFL footy. Glenn Barton, Peter Forenza and Matt Paddock keeping you across the action of round 9. Refuel is the round and the sponsor. And, of course, the GNFL is sponsored by the GNFL Premiership season and Community Bank Geraldton. And at quarter time, pretty interesting scoreline. Our quarter-by-quarter summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrilly War, the member for Geraldton. And at quarter time, Railways 2-3-15, lead Towns no score, a 15-point margin in favour of the Blues. For Railways, Sean Fletcher has kicked one and Liam Clarkson has kicked one. And in other games, as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrilly War, the member for Geraldton, we can tell you at quarter time out at Northampton at Percher International Oval, Rovers 4 goals 6-30 lead Northampton 1 goal straight 6. Today, the Saints taking on Brigades. Brigades have started very well. Brigades 6-1-37 lead Mullawall 1-1-7. Looking at better players in that quarter for Railways, their new player Hayden Fancoat has done as well as any in this performance. I thought Hayden Fancoat working really well for his side, and Hayden Fancoat playing his first game. I think he's a reserves player, but he certainly shows that he knows what to do and plays at this level. Others to do well for Railways include Sean Fletcher and also their big ruckman, and he continues to perform well, and he does it every week. Of course, Flynn Dillon we're talking about. And in defence, we've got the Darcy Rowe doing well. For Towns, well, they just not linking up as they would like. As Pete mentioned in commentary, Josh DeLacy's doing well. Hugh Bertram, a new player, first time I've seen him play. He's working hard in defence. The Bonnie boys, Raymond and Ron, are doing okay. Raymond and Robert, I should say, are doing well. But they really need a little bit of a lift. And, of course, in the Town side, their skipper is doing well also in Forrester. Ball back in the centre. We're underway in this second term. Umpire Starling gets the second term underway with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Geraldton. Ball comes out the way of Heberley. Heberley's tackled, caught in possession, and the free kick will go the way of the Blues. And the Railways player in Antonio Priolo gets the free kick. Feeds a handball out to his captain in Jesse Adamini. Adamini goes out wide looking for Messina. Messina draws a player, gives it back to Matt Kimberley. Matt Kimberley kicks the ball forward. Towns defender puts the Railways player under pressure, but Railways grab it through Giltro. Ball goes towards full forward, but the Towns player was dealt with, and the Towns free kick will go the way. And the player didn't return the ball in an appropriate manner, according to the umpire, and we'll see a 50-metre penalty go against Liam Clarkson.
Yeah, compounding penalty there. Matty Paddock doing special comments today. Matty, you've been out in the huddles. We're going to double up on you. What was said in the huddle you went to, and better players for Railways for you for that term?
Yeah, went into the Towns huddle, and Bo Walker's pretty bullish about his side at the moment. And rightly so. They're only 15 points down, albeit without a score. But he was pretty confident that his side was playing pretty well, and it's just a skill error here or there that's letting him down. But I did notice that he compared the grounds of the Rec to Towns Oval, and noticed the difference here. Obviously, Towns a much wider ground. So he said where the width lacks here, you need to lengthen it. So perhaps they're looking to go longer.
And 50-metre penalty the other way now.
And for you, the Blues that stepped up, I'm sure this man was amongst your better players for the first term.
Yeah, Dylan's playing well, and he rarely has a bad game, so it's always good to see. Fletcher's been good, obviously, with that goal. I've liked Fancoat's game coming off a half-back. He's on debut today, but he's looked settled, and it looks like the occasion hasn't gotten to him, which is good. And yeah, I really like Ted Kerr's game as well.
Yeah, Ted always playing his role. Messina now kicks it into the full forward area. There's Giltro. He spins around, shoots toward the big sticks, but it goes straight across the face of goal and will be out on the full. So Railways continue to where they left off in attacking mode, and it just lets. When they go forward, there is some structure. They know where they want to put the ball. And Clarkson certainly has become a pretty good focal point up front. Unfortunately, or fortunately for Towns, he didn't get away with that last mark, and it would have been a certain goal as the ball comes out of defence now for Towns. And on the half-back line, it's with Bonnie. Bonnie goes down the ground. He finds a teammate there. That teammate is Heberley. Heberley now goes to the outer side, into the full forward area. And we're away now because a nice mark is taken by Marquis. He decides to hold things steady. He sees a player on the lead. Eventually gives it away. Towns into attack now. Can they get a score? Going the way now of a player that comes inboard. And there he is. Oh, the man I thought was going to take a mark, but he met the player instead. And I'm talking about Jay O'Brien. The ball spills free. A last opportunity for the Bulldogs going the way of Adamini. Adamini out on the wing in front of our broadcast position. And he finds Kobe Ryan. Ryan back to Adamini. Adamini easily sends it inboard, and there's Flynn Dillon once again.
Flynn Dillon in the centre of the ground, turns around, has a teammate running past, takes the mark to Jace Price. He centres the ball towards full forward, and a beautiful mark taken by Giltro.
Great passage to play that.
So Railways moved it quickly from Jesse Adamini, getting it on to his teammate in Dillon, and the ball quickly in the forward line. So Railways have an opportunity to bring up their third goal of the afternoon. So,
are you surprised, Glenn, that the Giltro boys have, became so impacting in this game, in this team so early, since they've only come into it in recent times?
There goes the kick. Cody Giltro kicks the ball, couldn't make the distance on that occasion. Well, they just give good run, good flair. But, of course, they've played in the North Midlands with Dongra with some success. They have played juniors with Railways. They're coming back to help out, give a bit of flair and a bit of sparkle.
But, of course, they came into a grand final side, really, didn't they?
Yeah, but we know there are a lot of Railways players that have moved on out of the Colts side, of course. We know Jasper Cook is starring for Brigades at the moment. He was the captain of the Colts. So there have been some players move on from Railways, and they've brought some other young players in to give them a bit of sparkle. Messina grabs the ball, kicks towards goal, goes the way of Paletti, picked up now by Towns, and Towns cleverly force it through for a force behind. And on the GBSC scoreboard, we can see that Railways are 2 goals for 16, and they lead Towns yet to open their account. We played 4.5 minutes in this second term with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack. Towns have the ball in the back pocket. Drew McGregor is that player. Towns player and James Simmons makes an offer, but he goes back across the ground and picks out a teammate. DeLacy comes up the centre of the ground now and finds Drew Forrester. Drew Forrester goes by hand, finds Chapman. He gets it forward, finds a teammate there in Gus Heberley on centre wing. Gus Heberley kicks it up towards half forward, looking up there for a teammate, finds that player. That player is Jake Chapman. He gets it out towards Marquis. Marquis gets a handball forward, picked up now by Leon Jones. That's Leon Jones now. Bonnie got it to Jones. Leon Jones runs towards goal from 30 metres. And Leon Jones gets the first of the afternoon. And Towns are back in town. Leon Jones getting the first score on the board.
That passage of play, Matty Paddock, was started up by one young Caleb Sewell, who plays with a lot of poise, doesn't he?
Your man, Pete.
Yeah.
He's had a good game and has had an influence so far, and it's no surprise that he's involved in the scoring chain that leads to Towns' first of the day. Just want to highlight Bo Walker here. You mentioned in the previous quarter you'd like to have a look at Jay Bryan at full forward. Bo's actually put himself there, so it's interesting to see that it's a real old school type setup that they've got in forward 50. So it's Bo during general play, one out.
Yeah, and he's up there with one of the Hebley boys as well. So let's see what they can do. The ball coming out in the middle once again. There's Caleb Sewell. He goes through traffic. Does well to keep the ball in his keeping, or does he? There he is again. Flynn Dillon. He sends it into the half-forward area. He's looking for the player there in Clarkson. Clarkson falls over, doesn't take the mark. Unlucky. The ball goes back the way of the Towns defence now to the outer side. The player is quickly bottled up, and the ball will be thrown up. I think thrown up on the Francis Street side.
Ball comes back into play, comes the way of Towns. Towns need to get rid of the ball quickly. They need to get a score on the board to keep them flow going, but Railways get it through Matt Kimberley. Kimberley kicks it up towards full forward, looking up there for Giltro. Picked up by a Railways player, and Darcy Giltro has got a goal. And the Giltro boys played their part there, but Darcy Giltro finished it off. And Darcy Giltro gets his first of the afternoon. And Railways on the GBSC scoreboard, they get their third goal of the afternoon. And we see the scoreboard ticking over. And Darcy Giltro getting his first of the afternoon. And on the scoreboard for GBSC, it is Railways 3-4-22. Towns are 1 goal straight. So quick relief. And after Towns kicked the first goal with Leon Jones at the 6.5 minute mark, quickly returned up the other end. And Giltro got the score back.
Matty Paddock with special comments. Matty, I talked about the Giltro brothers just a moment ago. Cody Giltro came into the lineup last year, but his brother only coming in a couple of weeks ago at Northampton, but they are impacting.
Yeah, they certainly are, and perhaps that was the missing piece for Railways. They really lacked that small forward who can really have an impact on the scoreboard. A lot of the times it's been relying on Adamini, but you can't have him playing in the guts and playing up forward. So to have the Giltros up there is a real asset.
Ball going into the forward area now for Railways, or Towns, I should say. Can they set something up again? McDonald sends it down to the feet of a player that tried to run onto it and do something. And I'm talking about Gus Hebley. He wasn't able to do so, but the ball was bottled up. Be thrown up in the shadows of the goals for Towns. A goal here to the Bulldogs would be timely and start to put the cat amongst the pigeons in this particular encounter, but the defensive play by Railways may hamper them. But they get another shot toward the corridor. In comes the ball now. It spills free. There he is lurking. I'm talking about Jay O'Brien. Goes to ground. A lot of good, I should say, forward pressure by Towns then has ensured that Gus Hebley will now have a shot on goal.
Yeah, so Gus has been a very good pickup. So has Rex. So
Matty,
very
that was
handy
great
players.
pressure, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He really worked hard to get the tackle on and put the pressure on, and he should get the rewards here.
So Hebley, he's a noted goal scorer. He's only 15 metres out from goal, kicking to the southern end. Goal umpire watches the ball over his head. And on the GBSE scoreboard, we see Railways still in control, but we see a margin starting to get a little bit tighter as Towns keep the pressure on. And we see the ball come back in, and Towns get their second of the afternoon. And Towns are 2 goals straight, 12. Railways are 3-4, 22. So a really tight turnaround now. 10 points the margin in favour of the Blues. And as we expect, a contest here. Railways are sitting second on the premiership table. And Towns, if they win today, go from 5th to 4th and jump into the final four.
It is the key, Glenn Blandon. That pressure and offensive pressure is a bit of a bonus when a side all clicks like that, isn't it?
It is very much so. Gus Hebley and Rex Hebley have been superb pickups for their Bulldogs. They've been very, very good recruits indeed. Ball comes the way of Matt Kimberley. He wins the ball out of the centre, kicks it forward and finds Giltro. And this time a good mark taken by Darcy Giltro. Darcy Giltry on the backward side of the square. Takes them on, draws a player, but puts his teammate under pressure. Towns, can they regroup? Whistle on play, yes. Overused the ball, and Towns get the free kick. So Towns have it in defence. So Downs with the ball. There goes the kick from the defence up towards the centre of the ground. Railways, Jesse Adamini slaps it out towards Ditchburn. Ditchburn kicks it up towards centre half forward and finds Liam
Lovely lads.
Clarkson. Liam Clarkson, short pass, puts Sean Fletcher under pressure. Ball comes back, in goes Clarkson again, Yutsi's body on the line. Ball spills, comes back towards Damien King. He put his body on the line also. In goes the player there for Railways, and a very, very tough play out there at the moment. And the umpire comes in now and throw the ball up at centre half forward. Players of both sides going hard. The trainers from both sides have noticed a few things that are going out to have a look.
What, Matty, the coach of Towns must put the fear of God into his side at quarter time, because the intensity has just gone up quite a few notches, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's they've certainly taken from quarter time. You know, they almost look a different side coming out, but I do think the pressure's right on Railways here. They had their chances in the opening quarter, but they weren't able to capitalise to the full extent. It's left the door open, and now Towns are looking to rebound.
Yeah, 22 plays 12 on the scoreboard here at the Recreation Ground. This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack, all coming out of defence now. Railways still hold sway, slightly one would think, but Towns putting on the pressure, as I mentioned, and it is Weiss-like at the moment as the ball goes to ground and a player is quickly set upon in defence for Railways, or attack for Railways, I should say. Kobe Ryan sends it inboard, goes away of Clarkson, who sends it further afield, but Coming out now, there he is, Mitch Boyle. What can he do with it? He sends it inboard, finds a player in there, and that player goes forward. But Ted Kerr has it. He's under pressure as well, as I said. There's a lot of pressure being put on by the Town side as the ball spills free. Goes the way of Railways in defence. Towns continue to push forward. They're a bit like a panzer movement as they move up the ground and ensure that Railways have nowhere to go as they look for options, and they go laterally into space. And that was Scally who did that, and they're thinking up their options now as they come forward. And there's Ted Kerr, takes a good mark just outside the centre square, goes to the Francis Street side, the fat side of the ground. Messina takes a nice mark.
Blake Messina on the Francis Street wing to send the ball forward. Towns putting pressure on, but Railway still running deep into attack. Picked up by Kimberley. Kimberley kicks it up towards half forward, but Towns are there. Picked up there by Leroy Shiozaki. Ball goes high into the air. Players from both sides go at the ball. Picked up now by Forrester. He gets a handball out to the player there in Sewell. He gets it up the ground, and Towns have it. And they kick it forward, in towards the forward section. Towns have it through Bonnie. He grabs it, kicks it forward, looking up there for the coach in Bo Walker. He feeds a handball out, looking for Leon Jones. Leon Jones runs towards an open goal, takes one bounce and bangs it through. And Towns are back in town. And on the scoreboard for GBSC in this quarter, Towns have kicked 3 goals and Railways have kicked 1, and back in the contest.
Maddie and Glenn, I bet you all saw it. I saw it. He sold the dummy too, didn't he?
He had a good look. He had a good look at Mitch Boyle and said, "I'm too quick for you."
He did. Yeah, he did. And he put it through the middle. And suddenly, Glenn, we've got a big game on our hands. It's 4 points the difference here on Dredden O'Malley game day.
And Leon Jones had the skill, had the run, and how often good players run the ball into the forward line like that rather than kicking it from a mile out. He had the pace. He took the ball and made no mistake.
He backed himself.
Yeah, that's right. And kicked the ball through. So 3 goals, 4 plays, 3 goals straight. So 4-point ball game in favour of the Blues as we head towards 15 minutes in this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack. Ball comes the way of Fletcher for Railways. He gets it out, goes the way of Giltro. And Giltro had the ball held to him. The umpire will come and throw the ball up on the backward side of the square. Umpire Starling, along with Forrester and Bryce, the Sandra Carr MLC umpires for the GNFL in our game day this afternoon. Picked up by Jace Price for Railways. He kicks the ball forward and gets it the way of Ted Kerr. Ted Kerr, 50 metres out from goal, kicking to the southern end. We saw Ted kick a very good goal out at Greenough last week at Daimler Truck Greenough Oval in that big game against Rovers. So Ted, he is a very good kicker and he's a very good sports person. So Ted has an opportunity to get his first score of the afternoon from 50 metres out. Looks pretty good off the boot, won't make the distance, off hands and through for a minus score. And on the scoreboard for GBSC, Towns Towns remain on 3 goals straight. Railways are 3 goals 5.
I was trying to think earlier on when young fella went through for Towns to score that goal and showed the lolly as he put it through. It was a bit of Stevie J, wasn't it, Glenn?
Very much so. So Leon Jones, a star of the future.
The ball coming forward now again for Railways. Towns defence under a bit of siege now as Railways trying to up the ante as they feel the pressure coming down on them. And we'll see the ball thrown up just in the shadows of the goals for Railways at the Augusta Street end. The ball coming out to Hebley. Hebley onto his boot into space, but it only goes as far as the custodian for Railways who sends it forward, and a nice mark is taken downfield. So they will have a shot on goal, you'd think, Railways from this position, and try and steady the ship somewhat. And the fellow with it right now is Damien King. So he knows how to kick a goal, this young fellow, but he's on a very tight angle. You'll probably just see a little bit of daylight from where he is as he kicks toward the big Norfolk Pines here at the recreation ground. So in he comes now. Damien King, let's see what he can do. It's going to come off the side of his boot, or is it? It's coming around, but it's not good enough and goes through for the minor score. So that is a point, and the ball quickly comes out of defence, and this fella is going to be impacting, one would think, Jay O'Brien. I think he's doing a lot of talking out there. It's paying off as the ball goes down the wing now for Towns. Quickly bottled up, though, and the player there had something to do with that was Mitchell Boyle. it goes to the outer side, the Francis Street side of the ground, a bit of stacks on the mill. So things starting to tighten up here this afternoon. Very open game early. A lot of structure, a lot of skill was on display. But now it's Sheep Stations as they start to tighten things up on the far side of the recreation ground. And Towns taking it toward the boundary. And it finds the white lines. The ball about to be thrown in from the Francis Street side. Again, reminding you this quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack.
As we head towards time on for Towns, Leon Jones has kicked 2. Gus Hebley has kicked 1. For Railway, single goals to Sean Fletcher, Liam Clarkson and Darcy Giltro. Ball comes back into the forward line for Railways. Sean Fletcher grabs the ball from 35 metres, shoots towards goal. But good bit of defence there by the Towns player in Cameron Hoffhammer as he sees the ball through for a minus score. So a good bit of defence there from Cameron Hoffhammer as Towns rebound now. Goes McGregor, goes out wide, picks out a teammate. That teammate runs around his opponent. There goes the kick forward up towards the boundary line on the outer side or Francis Street side. Pack around the ball and ball comes back. Goes the way of Mitchell Boyle. Mitchell Boyle centres it. Looking again for Fletcher. Finds that player. Fletcher is 60 metres from goal. Plays on quickly.
Easy.
Leading out.
Beautiful kick.
Taking a beautiful mark. And after a beautiful kick makes it a lot easier. And a good bit of play there from Fletcher and Nathan Paletti. Nathan Paletti on the end of that. And Nathan is only 30 metres out. Directly in front. Has an opportunity to kick his first of the afternoon.
So he and Clarkson, the Twin Towers down there today, Glenn.
Yeah, sharing the ball well. So Nathan Paletti, he can extend the margin. It's 7 points at the moment. And it can go, of course, to a lot. 6 more points than that. There goes the kick. And he's got it. Nathan Paletti kicks a goal from 30 metres. So Railways are 4 goals, 7. And Towns are 3 goals straight. 4-7. 3 goals straight, and that's the scoreboard on the GBSC scoreboard here at the Recreation Ground. We're at Red Dust Holdings Recreation Ground for round 9 for refuel on GNFL's Community Bank Radio and, of course, our very own Radio Mama.
You're listening to Radio Mama. Peter Frenzer and Glenn Barner bringing you all the action along with Matthew Paddock. Special comments today, running commentary from Maddie. Hey, Maddie, good to see from Railway's point of view that they've turned things around pretty quickly, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have.
They're under siege somewhat.
Yeah, they were. Towns were bringing the pressure, but perhaps they weren't able to keep going, and in the end it's Railway's structure that's held them in good stead. It's nice to see Paletti get on the end of one. Spent a lot of time in the reserves last year, and he's really locked down that spot up forward.
4-7 plays 3 straight goals, 31 plays 18 in favour of the Blues. It is 20 minutes gone, 20 and a half minutes, or nearly 21 minutes gone in this term, so heading toward the half-time break, the big break here on Drennan O'Malley game day, and can Towns get another goal before that? And player is quickly brought to ground, and that's Jay O'Brien, always at the base of a pack, is that fella. Ball about to be thrown up once again. Bit disappointing in the crowd here today, Glenn. We've been seeing some big crowds at GNFL football matches so far this season.
Yeah, it is surprising considering the 2 other games are both out in the country and both expected to be one-sided games.
Exactly.
This is the game in Geraldton today, and yeah, it is a Saturday. And
right in town as well.
Yeah.
The ball going the way of Messina, quickly set upon though. He's not getting the opportunities that he normally gets, but a free kick. It was a high tackle put on him by Forrester. Fletcher, like the way he goes about his business, kicks it outside the centre square, finds Darcy Rowe. Rowe down the Francis Street wing. Oh, a nice mark, though. It's taken by the player there, and Jay O'Brien. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Where's Wally? Where's Jay? He sends it back out to the wing and finds a player out there that does pretty well on occasion when we're talking about Drew McGregor. McGregor always plays his part in a football side. He's always there and about as he sends it into the half-forward area. Players setting themselves. Some of the Towns players unable to get in position. The ball comes off hands. It's Railways who have it through the guys of the defender, who quickly gets it to a teammate. Sends it inboard now and finds this player in Iaria. Iaria normally on for his basketball prowess with the Buccaneers. Of course, Buccaneers have a big weekend this weekend. Playing the Eastern Suns tonight and then backing up with Rockingham tomorrow. They sit on top of the SBL or NBL 1 ladder as Fletcher is quickly bottled up. The ball comes over the boundary. And Towns have it through Robert Bonney. Bonney now looking for options. Forresters wants it, so does Sewell. He kicks into the man on the mark, though, and puts it over the boundary. So Ball will be thrown in right in front of our broadcast position. Time ticking away, Glenn. Can Towns or Railways get another score on the board?
Yeah, desperate times. Both sides would love a goal before the half-time break. Ball comes back in from the boundary throw-in. And Towns under pressure in the rucking division as Flynn Dillon kicks the ball up from the throw-in, gets it up towards Damien King. In goes Towns player. Towns player has the ball held to him, and umpire Darren Bryce will come in and throw the ball up. Good bit of play there from Towns. Cameron Hoffhammer working hard in defence. He tries to lock things down, and he did again on that occasion. The Towns player did well, won the knock, but in goes Flynn Dillon, roves at best. Gets in the way of the player in Messina. Messina handballs the ball over his head. Hoffhammer's there again. Gets it out. Goes the way of Towns player in Leroy Shiozaki. Ball goes back towards Shiozaki. He's tackled. Has the ball held to him. And once again, there'll be another throw up. 24 minutes gone in their second term with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Time running out for both sides. Railways 4-7-31. Towns a 3 goals straight 18. Ball goes towards the boundary line. There'll be another boundary throw-in front of the grandstand here at the recreation ground. And beautiful conditions for football. Hardly a breath of breeze.
Perfect.
Very,
really,
very pleasant. Not too windy, but both sides going at it pretty hard. Goes away as Sean Fletcher. He tries to break a tackle. He threw the ball away, and the umpire said, give it to the player. And now a 50-metre penalty goes the way of the player there in Forrester.
Oh, look at this.
Forrester, that's another 50. It should be.
Yeah.
Forrester being a bit cute there, running parallel with.
Yeah, but
Priolo,
that's how you do it, though. You draw a free kick.
I think he was trying to draw one.
Yeah, well, of course he was.
And the man was running on the mark area, so
He's not meant to be anywhere near that.
No.
The ball comes the way of Towns, and Caleb Sewell gets it forward and goes the way.
He's uncanny, that bloke. He's just so cluey, Sewell. He just knows what to do for a young head, Glenn.
Yeah, there's a bit of a going on behind the play now because it wasn't picked out. The ball goes the way now, goes the way of DeLacy. DeLacy with the free kick. DeLacy with the ball. He is 30 metres out. Can Towns claw their way back into this contest? DeLacy's kick looks pretty good. Not good enough. It hit the post. Hit the post about 3/4 up. And on the scoreboard, we see that Towns are now 3 goals, 1-19. They trail Railways 4-7-31. 31-19. As we see the ball to be brought back in.
It was interesting, both of you talking about the situation with Forrester and Priolo a little bit earlier on. Matty, I'm don't really know the rules that much as well, but it seems in the AFL you can't be even in that whole area. So
you cannot.
Even though he was running forward and he looked like he was antagonising Priolo. Priolo shouldn't probably have been in that area at all. Yeah. I think that's the actual ruling at the moment. But it is half time, and gee, we've got a good game in our hands, Glenn.
Yes, as Towns won't be able to make the distance from there. And as you mentioned, a really entertaining first half of footy. A long way to go in this contest, but Railways are doing well. Railways are in front, 31-19, and at half-time. It is a very entertaining game of footy. Railways are 4-7-31. They lead Towns 3-1-19, and you're tuned to Radio Mama, your home of GNFL football.
You're listening to Radio Mama and the GNFL match of the day, thanks to Community Bank Geraldton.
relationship with Great Southern Fuels started with my father 50 years ago, delivering fuel in drums back in the day, which has progressed into large tanks now. They've been very reliable and efficient on time with service.
We run a mixed farming operation here on Chapman Valley, just north of Geraldton, managing about 5,500 hectares. We've been with what is now Great Southern Fuels for in excess of 20 years. There's always challenges and situations that catch you out, and they've been really, really good at accommodating that for us.
We've been with Great Southern for 28 years now. Look, they've given us exceptional service and they're price competitive, so it's wonderful.
They're a great company to work for. They're a family-owned business. They will support you and whatever is required.
I've got Alan's phone number, I've got Steve's phone number, and I know if I ring it I'll get an answer, which is really cool.
The relationship's great and the service is second to none. So I ring up and it doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday or whenever I ring up, I'll have fuel. So we've never been held up or had a problem with them. So my theory is that's what I'm about. It's about service and the relationship, and it's been fantastic.
It's very important to maintain long-term customers' loyalty and give back what you can when you can.
Great Southern Fuels is one of the few companies that I've been involved with that gives so much back to the local community. We support so many different organisations and country, sporting clubs, field days, farming organisations.
We endeavour to give back. The community looked after us by dealing with us, and we just gave it back in what we could do. Footy club needs a hand, well, it's because they need a hand that you give it to, not the other way around.
When you look at how they conduct themselves in the community, they've been a great supporter of the Livestock Transporters Association. Just incredible what they do.
I do a lot for the community, which is good. And not only Lake Race either, it's right where all these outlets are all over the state. He's been excellent with that.
We tend to sponsor major events, the Great Southern Football Carnival, Colts Carnival.
Across the board, I think sponsorships are a very important part of any community. I grew up in Lake Grace and footy was my life down there for a long time. Great Southern sponsored Lake Grace back then, and along with many other footy clubs and hockey clubs and tennis clubs, and we might not always be making a big deal out of it, but the people that get sponsored, they understand and they relate to it.
They do a lot for the town, so I can't fault them. They've been brilliant.
Great Southern Fuels have got strong values, and that shows in what they do. They walk the talk and they do what they do.
You deal with people that are there and care about your business, and these people have been absolutely wonderful.
I'm very proud of what Mum and Dad have achieved in their life and how they've structured the business, and it's all structured around our customers and looking after people and being in the right areas where we need to sell the fuel and have the support there and sponsorship. Being part of the community, even though we're not in that community, but our workers are there and that's part of us.
Railways 4-7, 31. Lead Towns 3 goals, 1-19, a 12-point margin. A 15-point margin at quarter time, so Towns didn't make a lot of headway. Towns kicked 3 goals, 1 in that quarter, looked good. And Railways also looked good at times. They kicked 2 goals, 4. Our halftime summaries were thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton. And looking at the goal scorers for Railways, Sean Fletcher, Liam Clarkson, Darcy Giltro and Nathan Paletti have kicked 1 apiece. And for Towns, Leon Jones has kicked 2. Gus Hebley has kicked 1. Let's look at our contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day with Matt Paddock. Matt, who did you like in the first half?
Yeah, well, Flynn Dillon's really grown into the game. He was a little quiet in that first quarter, but in the second quarter he really started to show his athleticism, really started to get down the line and take a few clunks. So he'd certainly be a contender. I've liked Ted Kerr's game out of the midfield. Really smooth operator, in my opinion. So his ability to use the ball well has been much welcomed for Railways, and the Giltros, who've been everywhere for Railways, both Cody and Darcy. They've certainly been handy pickups, and they've looked good today. But Towns are right in this, as you mentioned, and your man Sewell, Peter, has looked the goods today, as he generally does. Can't discredit Leon Jones up forward, who's kicked a couple of goals and really got them going. And I've liked Jay O'Brien's game. He's been sort of everywhere in that midfield, moving towards the middle of the ground. But it must be said the back line has held up against immense pressure from Railways, and part of that is James Simmons. So they've really held up, but can they do it for the whole game?
Maddie, Glenn and I were saying off air that we know Towns have got a lot of speedsters in their lineup. Maybe they need to utilise them a bit more.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting one. It's not the way Towns usually play, so to be able to execute that on the fly in a high pressure environment such as GNFL footy can be quite difficult. But you're right, they do have those assets, on all lines really. So it's certainly something that they could and should look at. Whether that's going to be of consideration is up to the Towns coaching staff.
We're going into the third term, the Premiership quarter. Drennan O'Malley Motors is the sponsor, and to call all the action in the penultimate quarter is Mr. Football Glenn Barton.
As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton, at half-time up at Mullawa. Brigades are doing very well. Brigades are 14 goals, 5-89. They lead Mullawa 2-2-14. Looking for an update from the game up there at Northampton. At quarter time it was Rovers 4-6 to Northampton, 1 goal straight. Ball back in the centre, and the umpire, Darren Bryce, to get the ball underway. He's one of 3 umpires this afternoon, doing the job for Sandra Carr, MLC. Darren Forrester and Randall Starling are the other umpires. A free kick's been picked out. Go the way of Towns. Rex Hebley. Rex Hebley plays on. Apparently he didn't play on across the mark, so he has to look for something else. And now he gets it. Gets a handball to Robert Bonney. Bonney kicks it up towards full forward. Ball slapped away. Ball running free. Railways have an opportunity through Cody Ryan. He gets it away, Fancoat. He gets it away with a nice little pass, and he's picked out Darcy Rowe. Darcy Rowe on half back. Short pass, puts his player under pressure. That player is tackled, gets rid of the ball just the nick of time. Back to Ryan, to Kimberley. Kimberley to Jace Price. And a good bit of play there from that hard-working player in Hoffhammer. Cameron Hoffhammer slaps the ball towards the boundary. And as Peter mentioned, this is the Premiership quarter. We do it for Drennan O'Malley Motors.
The ball at centre wing on the broadcast side in front of the big grandstand here, the traditional grandstand at the traditional home of football it was for a very long time, the recreation ground, the spiritual home you could call it. The ball is with this player now, Flynn Dillon. Dual Clune medalist. He could have another one in his sights perhaps in season 2026. No one has won 3 of them. The ball is with this player now, and Adamini. Adamini sends an in-ball down. There he is again, Dillon. Dillon now gives it away to a teammate who goes straight down the ground in Kobe Ryan, he finds Giltro. Giltro has 2 to beat. He goes one way, then the other. Quickly puts it onto his boot. Into the full forward area. Can Railways make something out of nothing here as they run to the base of goal, and it comes off hands. In fact, it come off a boot and went through for the minor score. So they tick over, does the scoreboard, and we see Railways 4-8-32 leading Towns 3-1-19.
On the Adam Hunter scoreboard, ball comes the way of Simmons. He goes by hand to McGregor. Towns out of trouble briefly. Ball goes up towards the centre. Towns player in Raymond Bonney now with the ball. Has the ball held to him. And umpire Bryce will come in and throw the ball up. Just backward of centre. Ball thrown up. In goes Flynn Dillon. He grabs it. The ball's picked up now by Forrester for Towns. Goes the way of Gus Heberley. Gus Heberley goes through traffic, kicks out wide, looking there for Noah Middleton. Noah couldn't mark the ball, comes to the ground, goes the way of Blake Messina. Blake Bunter. Blake Bunter takes his second bounce. Blake Bunter kicks the ball forward, looking up there for the teammate in Cody Giltro. Cody keeps it in play, brings it in towards the centre corridor, gives Jesse Adamini an opportunity. If Jesse can pick it up, he does so now. Ball spills out, goes the way of Heberley. Heberley, ball comes to the ground, picked up again by Gus Heberley on this occasion. Picked up there by Raymond Bonney. Bonney gets in the way of Drew Forrester. Forrester kicks it forward. Ball running free. Can Towns put a handle on it? Towns player grabs it, handballs it forward. But once again, the Railways defenders are there. And it gives an opportunity for Mitchell Boyle to clear the bay for the Blues. His kick comes back towards Middleton. Middleton's tackled. Ball plays on. Goes back towards the player there in Mitchell Boyle. Ball very close to the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw-in about 30 metres up from the scoreboard, which reads Railways 4-8-32. Towns are 3-1-19. 3 minutes 40 played. And the game up at Northampton at quarter time. That is the score that we had, 4-6 to 1 goal. But we're looking for a half-time score. So we've got our calls in. Hopefully they'll come back shortly.
The ball in the middle of the ground goes away of Ted Kerr. Goes laterally now. Gives it to a teammate. That teammate quickly sends his player under pressure, but he comes through the pack. Does the player in Bunter. Bunter sends it into the half-forward area, but the mark is taken in defence for Towns. James Simmons, he's stepping up this afternoon, the young fella. There's a lot of him. He's a big fella, but he is only young. But he's had a few games under his belt now. He was in a fledgling side for many years with Towns. Balls with McDonald on the far side. He sends it inboard now. Towns slowing things down. As I said, maybe they should try and make it a bit quicker. The ball goes away of Sewell. He in turn sends it inboard. They've got possession. Now they need to make some inroads up front. Let's see what they can do as they head toward the Augusta Street end, the scoring end forward. The Bulldogs in this term. Over the back of the pack it goes, but it's picked up on this occasion by Rowe. Rowe in turn gives it away to Ditchburn. Ditchburn back to Rowe. Coming out of the pack though. The bounce isn't kind for the defender for Railways in Skelly. Can Towns capitalise on this? They don't, as it goes away now of Kobe Ryan. Ryan back to Ditchburn. Ditchburn in turn down the line. He gives it to a teammate straight onto his boot. In front of our broadcast position it goes. There's Ted Kerr. He's clever. He gets out of danger. Goes away of Flynn Dillon. Flynn Dillon goes through traffic. Tries to get rid of the ball. Eventually does. He was lucky.
Yeah.
He was very lucky, Glenn. As the ball spills free, no one can get the mitts on it, but there he is again, Sewell. A nice handball. Gives away to a teammate there in Bonney. Bonney in turn down the line. Gives it to DeLacy. Back to Bonney. Bonney is tackled as he gets the ball further afield, but it doesn't go to intended target. It's back with the defence of Railways now and comes off the boot of the defender down the line, but the mark, a nice strong mark, is taken by Hoffhammer.
Hoffhammer centres the ball, looking there for Forrester. Forrester's interfered with. Play on's the call. Out wide, all on his Pat Malone is Jay O'Brien. O'Brien breaks through the centre, kicks it towards half forward, looking up there for a teammate. But Railway's doing well back there through Tundridge, but the ball's turned over. Jay O'Brien's there, screws the ball in towards the forward pocket. And an opportunity for Towns to draw ever so closer. And Leon Jones, who's kicked two this afternoon, lining up for his third.
Matty, it couldn't be in safer hands right now, could it?
No, he's certainly the man with the hot foot, so to speak. Kicked two already. This one slightly tougher than the ones he's had, but is a pretty reliable shot on goal, if anything, earlier today is to go by.
Jay O'Brien racking up kicks as well as he comes in now. Leon Jones. The angle a bit wider than what it looks from here. He knows it's pretty straight. He knows where the goals are, and that is an important goal for Towns, and they go to 4 goals 1. And we'll wait for it to tick over because they have that little celebration after each goal on the scoreboard. I don't know why they do that, but it has a bit of fun, doesn't it? So we'll wait till it comes back to get the exact score, but the last score was scored by Towns. And wait for it, it is Towns 4-1-25, and they are trailing Railways 4-8-32.
And we've got an update for the game up at Northampton, and Rovers are 10-9-69, and we're into the 4th quarter. And we've played 4 minutes, and Northampton are 2-6-18. 2-6-18, Northampton, and 10-9-69 Rovers. So Rovers doing it well, Brigade's doing it well, and we've certainly got the game of the day again as Sean Fletcher wins the ball out of the centre. Goes the way there, looking for a teammate, then goes back in to retrieve it. In goes Flynn Dillon. Towns' intensity certainly improved since quarter time. Goes the way now of the hard-working youngster and Robert Carlos McDonald, forwarding the ball out. Comes the way of the experience of Jess Adamini. Adamini kicks the ball out.
Mark.
But a good, strong mark. Taken again by that man in Caleb Sewell.
Go, Gadget Arms.
Caleb Sewell goes out wide, finds Drew McGregor on half-back, Francis Street side. Towns are going to the city end. There goes the kick from the player there in McGregor, looking up there for Josh DeLacy. Ball goes across the boundary line, and there'll be a boundary throw in. We've played 8 minutes in this third term with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors, and we've had 1 goal scored, and that was off the boot of Leon Jones.
32 plays at 25 here at the Recreation Ground. A quite overcast situation at the moment as the ball comes in from the boundary, and on this occasion it's picked up by the Railways player who sends it down into the half-forward area. But it's Towns that are there. The defence has stood up this afternoon. It's been under a lot of pressure. Can it continue? The ball going the way of a Towns player. He puts it toward the boundary, but Railways have it. Advantage paid as they go forward now. The ball is with Ted Kerr. He's got a bit of time here. He can shore up his kick, and he does so into the full-forward area. And the mark is taken by Clarkson. So that was a nice kick by Kerr, but he had a lot of time to do it. He did the right thing. He sized up his option, got out the sighter, and found the strong arms of Clarkson. So Clarkson now, he's on more than a 45-degree angle. He kicked from the Francis Street side to the Shenton Street end, or southern end of the Recreation Ground. And, well, erase the inroads that Towns have made, or try to erase the inroads that Towns have made early in this, the third term. And he comes now, Clarkson. Doesn't look good off the boot, or does? It does in the end. That's a good one by Clarkson. And he has scored a goal for Towns and has returned to the status quo.
Yes, the margin keeps going back to way of Railways. Liam Clarkson, a good goal from where he was. He's pretty happy about that, as you'd expect. So Railways get there. Liam Clarkson gets his 2nd goal of the afternoon. And Railways have had 4 goal scorers. Liam's kicked 2 and singles to Sean Fletcher, Darcy Giltro and Nathan Paletti, while for Towns, Leon Jones has kicked 3 and Gus Heavily has kicked 1.
A little bit hard breaking into the league side in recent years as Liam Clarkson, since returning from the metro area where he played a lot of suburban footy down there and worked with some of the Waffle clubs, but he certainly has found his niche today, Matty.
Yeah, he's certainly been that key forward that Railways have been looking for, really presenting well and going through his leading patterns well. So it's good to see some reward for his efforts.
Ball coming out of the middle now. Beautiful big slap by the big ruckman in Flynn Dillon. But it goes back the way now of the player there, and that is the captain that sent it down the line, but it wasn't a good kick by him in the end. And, well, they got a free kick. The Towns out of that. They'll tackle a little bit high. Going back the way now of this player in Hebley. He didn't get the bounce on the first attempt. It kicks into the man on the mark. Has 2 opportunities. He goes laterally now and finds a player that takes a nice mark. And that player, and there's Sewell again. He's racking up kicks. Probably one of the best kick possession getter on the park for his side, one would think. Lacey has it now. What can he do? It's a nice kick inside the forward area. Up they go. But at the back, a nice mark is taken by none other than Flynn Dillon. He's everywhere, this fella. He's an amazing player as he gets it down to Bunter, to the outer side in front of the old scoreboard. Goes away of Towns now. Been put under a little bit of pressure as we see the ball on the far side, the Francis Street side of the ground with Adamini. Adamini now. He goes backward to come forward. They go across the face of goal. And this player, under pressure, is Ditchburn.
He gets it across again and finds Rowe. Rowe down the line and finds Jace Price. Jace Price again, in turn. The kick isn't a good one. It bounces in front of the intended target, but he moves in and gets it in Tunbridge. Tunbridge inboard now to King. King to Giltro. Giltro now. He stands on the mark. He proceeds to go forward now. Can Messina run onto this? But he won't. He'll be outpointed on this occasion by Drew McGregor. McGregor in front of Messina. Switches play. And Drew, and then the play goes across the ground, and there he is again. The player I'm talking about in Caleb Sewell.
Caleb Sewell gets the ball up the ground, looking for the run. Can Towns do something here with Rex Hebley? Ball turned over, goes the way of Railways. Being Flynn Dillon grabs the ball, kicks it towards full forward. Running with the flight of the ball is the player there in Darcy Giltro. And Darcy Giltro has taken a good mark. He's only 25 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Darcy Giltro's kick one this afternoon.
Matt, the impact that Flynn Dillon can have in one passage of play is immense, isn't it?
Yeah, when you have a man at his size with his athletic ability, it's certainly an asset for Railways. I mean, we saw before he took a mark in D50 and certainly helps out through the chains of play as we see Giltro kick through the big sticks.
Yes, and suddenly things have changed again in the context of this particular match, and Giltro boys have certainly come to play today. And but this game is seesawing somewhat, and Towns need to keep up the ante if they want to stay in this game, because Railways certainly find it pretty handy when they can take some marks inside their forward 50. They've got some good hands there, and they finish off well. And Darcy Giltro is the last one on this occasion to do just that.
Yeah, Towns take one step forward and then they take two steps back.
Yeah,
as Railways continue to do it. But, yeah, they're still in the contest. There's not a lot in it. There's still only 3 goals in it.
Yeah, 6-8 plays 4-1.
So it's a low-scoring, tight contest. Beautiful conditions for football. In goes Flynn Dillon, wins it down to his rover there in Jesse Adamini. Adamini gets it up the ground, goes the way again of Darcy Giltro. He gets the ball up towards the forward line, looking there for King. Picked up now by Cody Giltro. Cody Giltro shoots towards goal.
Oh, good work.
But he's seen the ball through for a point. So on the scoreboard for Adam Hunter, the accountant, it is 6 goals 9, plays 4 goals 1 in favour of the Blues. Ball rebounds quickly. Can Towns do something with it now? Drew Forrester has it. Gets a handball out, looking there for a bit of support from his teammate in DeLacy. But the Railways player was interfered with, and that's Fancoat. He plays on quickly, finds Messina. Blake Messina in the centre of the ground. Kicks it up towards half forward, looking there for King. Ball slapped away from him by Hoffhammer. Hoffhammer goes back in and retrieve it. So a good bit of play there. The Towns players down in a bit of bother at the middle of the ground. Looks like Callum Marquis scraping himself up off the ground. And looks like he's going to come off the ground. Looks like he's done something to his shoulder,
yeah.
Which is a bit of a blow. A big blow, of course. So he looks like he's holding his shoulder, which isn't good news for him or Towns or the competition, because he's a great player.
He's had a lot of work on that in recent years.
He has.
He's had a lot of trouble with his shoulder, and that doesn't look good for Towns.
Doesn't. Ball comes back into play, and once again, Towns under the pump. The ball goes the way of Aiton Mason. He puts himself over the body. There's a couple of other Towns players down behind play. A Railways player is also in trouble. They've clashed. Towns player looks like he's hurt his leg. Railways player looks like he might have hurt his head. So the Railways player is coming off the ground. That's young Giltro. That is Cody Giltro. He's coming off. And the Towns player is limping off. And that looks like it might be Middleton. Ball comes the way of the Towns player. He's slung. That's the way the umpires read it. And the free kick will go the way of William Faithful. Will Faithful. There's a player coming off the ground. They're waiting for the player to come off the ground.
They're just talking about the Giltro boys. Of course, cricket is in their blood as well, in their DNA. So Cody, I know he's pretty good at cricket, but is it with the Willow or the Kookaburra?
I don't know. I think he's an all-rounder.
He's an all-rounder, so with both of them, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting, isn't it? If they're good at one sport, they're always good at another, aren't they?
Yeah, so they probably play golf pretty well as well, I'd say. So the ball is with Will Faithful on half-back as we wait to see the Towns player coming off. And, he's in a bit of a little worse for wear. Is that player? That's Blake Carter. Blake Carter looks... he also wears a helmet. Blake Carter is the player that's come off for Towns. Ball comes the way of Will Faithful. He goes right out wide. And he's picked out a teammate. That teammate quickly gets the ball up the ground. That was Jake Chapman.
I'd like this bloke to step up a little because I think he's capable of more. And we're talking about DeLacy.
He's a good, strong sports person too. There goes DeLacy's kick up towards centre wing, looking up there for his captain. Drew Forrester draws a player, feeds a handball out. Railways have the numbers at 3-1. Ball comes back, and a good tackle put on by the Towns player. Put Flynn Dillon under a bit of pressure, but he still got rid of the ball in time. Tunbridge gets it out towards the player there in Kimberley. The ball turned over, goes back towards Forrester, and Forrester kicks the ball in towards the centre corridor. Always dangerous. Jace Price grabs it. He comes out wide, and he's got it with Kobe Ryan.
Kobe Ryan just in front of our broadcast position for Radio Mama, slips, but it gets the ball away into space, gets another bite of the cherry, goes backward to find a teammate there in Rowe. Rowe cleverly knocks it in front of him. Will he find the boundary as Sanctuary? Yes, he will, as he puts it over just in front of the dugout for Towns. Just letting you know that young Kalamarquis has left the ground with a shoulder injury, so that's a blow for Towns, one of their main players so far in recent years, that's for sure. And today he was getting a bit of the ball. Ball gets thrown in now, and going to ground is McDonald. He's quickly gobbled up by the player in Fletcher. So the ball about to be thrown up in front of the grandstand here at the Rec. 17 minutes gone in this, the third term. Railways holding sway, you would think. In this, the premiership quarter going the way of King. Hits him in the noggin, but comes down in his favour. There's Messina. He gets it from Kerr. Messina, a nice kick inside the corridor. Oh, beautiful defensive mark is taken by the player there, Drew McGregor. Drew McGregor sends it down to McDonald now. Some passages, they look pretty good to Towns, and then they let themselves down in the final analysis of a passage of play. He comes inboard now and goes the way of Hoffhammer. Hoffhammer now. Geez, that wasn't the best of kicks. He could have gone a little bit more straighter, and he would have found his captain, who was just waiting for it there. But that was Forrester, but the ball is still in their keeping as Towns go forward now, or do they? The ball off the half-back line is with Railways. Railways cross now. Kobe Ryan, unassuming player, but he gets a few kicks, and his skills are simple but good as he gives it away now to a fellow teammate. Down the line it goes and finds Paletti. Paletti at centre wing now, looking down the line for options. Time ticking away. Another goal here for Railways will give them a pretty good lead in the context of this particular match. They have the biggest lead of the afternoon so far. Flynn Dillon, beautiful mark. He takes up beautiful marks throughout the afternoon. Comes a little bit ordinary for him. He plays down further. He's looking for the lead coming out of the pocket, and goes away of Townslow in the end off the half-back line. Can they do something? If they hold on to it, they can. Leon Jones, he needs to get it further up the line. He finds a teammate who's equal to the task. Going forward now is William Faithful. Faithful gives it away to another Bulldog. And out to the far side, Forrester. He will run. He'll run like the wind as he sends it into the half-forward area. Out comes the captain, courageous, I should say, coach, and Bo Walker. It was a beautiful lead, but he couldn't take the mark. Brought down in the final stages of that passage of play. Railways have it. Probably made a mess of it then, Towns, because they could have gobbled something up, but they mop up to Railways, and it goes back to the outer side of that player in Kimberley. Kimberley in turn to Fletcher. Fletcher sends it inboard and finds King.
Damien King in the centre of the ground. Railways still have this game where they want it. The ball comes, short pass, goes the way of Jace Price. He's on centre wing. Moving the ball up towards the southern end. Looking there for Flynn Dillon. Finds that player. Flynn Dillon still 80 metres from goal. He runs on immediately, takes the bounce, looks to kick the ball in towards the forward pocket, looking there for a teammate. Finds that player. And a good mark taken by Giltro.
Yep.
So Darcy Giltro plays on and gets it forward. Whistle on play, shoot on goal, but a minor score result. So Railways had an opportunity and they couldn't finish off, so that was disappointing for them.
He's
so they're getting a lot of the ball.
Fletcher, and he takes his opportunities as they come.
So the ball to be brought back into play from Towns. So Towns, they haven't made much inroads. They've tried. There's no doubt about that. They've kicked one goal in this quarter.
Railways have dominated this quarter.
They've kicked 2-3. Comes the way of Towns out of defence. Ball bounces the way of Ted Kerr. Ted Kerr is caught in possession.
He certainly is.
And the free kick goes the way of the Towns player there in Raymond Bonney. So Raymond Bonney with the free kick on half-back. Can Towns crank something up? Time ticking by in this third quarter, the premiership quarter for Drennan O'Malley Motors. We're into time on. Won't be a long quarter. Hasn't been a lot of scoring in this quarter either. Goes the way of the player there, Leroy Shiozaki. He gives it to the young man, Robert Carlos McDonald, very close to the boundary line. And there'll be a boundary throw in. Hoffhammer and Paletti getting to know each other. Boundary umpire to throw the ball back into play. And Nathan Paletti to do the rucking for Railways. And the young player in Leroy Shiozaki is doing the rucking. He's doing a power of work. He's only a relatively small player in comparison to the Railways ruckman, but he's certainly trying hard. Goes the way of Jay O'Brien of Towns. He has the ball held to him, and the ball will be thrown up on centre wing, just in front of our broadcast box here at Radio Mama.
Carlos McDonald, then, do you know how many games he's actually played?
This is his second game.
Yeah, he's only a 17-year-old.
He only played his first game last week.
Yeah, Nagle Catholic College Year 12, so good on him. The ball coming out of that passage of play, going the way of Price now. Price sends it inboard and finds Adamini. Adamini under pressure, takes the mark. Hoffhammer was the man. He's got a bit of a cramp.
Well, I think he might have more than that.
Oh, he's done his ankle. Yeah, he's done his ankle as the ball goes forward now, and it is marked by the player we just talked about. And that's Roberto Carlos McDonald takes the mark. In fact, it goes the way of a fellow teammate there, Robert Bonney. Bonney goes laterally now as that player comes off the ground.
Yeah, he's done something. Well, Carter is getting work done on him too, Blake Carter, the young man.
Cameron
It looks like
Hoffhammer.
he's getting his ankle restrapped.
Yeah, the ball is with Railways now. Towns trying to rattle them a little bit, but it's Railways who are getting on top, Matty, and they're probably taking command in this term, haven't they?
Yeah, for the early parts, it was certainly, as the siren goes there, signal the end of the quarter. Yeah, it's been mostly Towns, I thought, that quarter, but Railways are the ones who were able to hit the scoreboard. So, 6-10, 46 for Railways, plays 4-1, 25 for Towns.
You're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football. You're listening to the GNFL Match of the Day, thanks to Kerrily War MLA and the City of Greater Geraldton on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
lead Towns 4 goals, 125. So the biggest margin of the day, despite Towns working really hard. They kicked only 1 goal in that term, and Railways added 2 goals, 3. So Railways doing it well. 6-10-46 to Towns 4-1-25. Now, three-quarter time summary with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. For Railways, Liam Clarkson has 2, Darcy Giltro has 2, singles to Sean Fletcher and Nathan Paletti. For Towns, their goal scorers, Leon Jones has kicked 3 and Gus Hebley has kicked 1. To help us out and look at the better players and contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day, Matt Paddock, who'd you like in that quarter?
Yeah, it's hard to go past Flynn Dillon and his influence. He's although I notice he's not starting in the ruck contest here.
Well, he probably needs a bit of a rest.
He wore himself out.
He's been here, there and everywhere. As have the Giltros. Again, continued their influence in that quarter. So, but for Towns, Sewell again showed his prowess across the ground, and really liked Hofhammer behind the ball.
Okay, and what did who'd you go out and see at three-quarter time and have a listen to?
Yeah, it was in the Railways huddle. Mostly calm on their end. It seemed, they're 20-odd points ahead, but they felt they've had the composure. It's all about how they react now. So their pressure, they feel, is causing Towns to make mistakes. It's all about their reaction and holding their structure.
21 points is the difference in favour of the home side Railways as we see the ball go the way of Blake Bunter. He sends it toward Giltro. The 2 little fellas doing well this afternoon. And Giltro, he's got a bit of fire about him. Fire in the belly is Cody Giltro. He sends it inside the corridor now. Players setting themselves. A mark here would be good for Railways, but the defensive mark by the Towns custodian holds steadfast. He'll go laterally now to the Francis Street side of the ground and finds some Bulldogs hands out there. Inboard. Their build-up's not too bad, the Bulldogs, but breaks down when it gets into the half-forward area. Because over many years they've worked on their skills, and this player has certainly helped moving into their lineup. Coming over from Chapman Valley a few years ago. I'm talking about Jay O'Brien. He gets it to Hebley. Hebley down the line looking for a teammate there, comes off hands and spills over the boundary. This quarter, Glenn, brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants, and it's getting close to that all-important tax time.
It certainly is. In other games today, up at Northampton, Rovers doing the job. Rovers 12-10-82 lead Northampton 5-8-38. And out there at Mullawar, Brigades on target to a big win. Brigades are 21 goals, 10-136 to Mullawar 2-2-14. So games going pretty much as predicted this afternoon, with Rovers on way to a victory up there at Northampton. Certainly Brigades on the way to a victory at Mullawar, and we would expect Railways perhaps can hang on here, but still plenty of time if Towns can regroup and get a couple of quick goals, get themselves back in the game. Up goes Hebley, almost a good mark there to Gus Hebley. Couldn't put a handle on it. Ball comes to ground. Josh DeLacy has the ball. The umpire, Darren Forrester, one of the 3 umpires this afternoon, doing a wonderful job for Sandra Carr MLC. The GNFL umpires, Darren Forrester throws the ball up. Darren Price and Randall Starling are also assisting in the umpiring this afternoon as Rowe slaps it down of Ryan. Ryan gets it forward, goes the way of Rex Hebley on this occasion for Towns. Rex Hebley gives it to Bo Walker. Bo Walker on centre wing, draws a player, gets it to a teammate. That teammate runs back through traffic, but gets it on his left boot, kicks it forward. Does Raymond Bonney only as far as Drew McGregor. McGregor goes out wide. He's picked out a teammate. So Towns have it through Simmons. Simmons kicks the ball up towards half forward, looking for the danger man in Leon Jones. Ball drops to ground, picked up by Hugh Bertram. He kicks the ball forward, goes the way now of Fancoat. Fancoat goes by hand to the player there, working hard in Ted Kerr. Ted goes out looking for the boundary line, but the ball's still in play, is picked up by Sewell. Sewell centres the ball and finds Bo Walker.
Bo Walker, the coach, comes laterally now and finds Jay O'Brien, who plays on now to Hebley. Hebley off the half-back flank now, sends it down the line. Goes toward a teammate who does pretty well on this occasion to avoid his opponent in Noah Middleton. Goes back to O'Brien. O'Brien down the line. He's looking for support down there. Doesn't find it. There's a lot of pressure being put on by the Towns forward to get it down the line. The defence for Railways working overtime. Sam Scally having a bit of a tete-a-tete with his opposite number there. And the ball will be thrown up just outside the forward 50. Up they go. It's knocked down by the big man in Clarkson for Railways. Going forward for Towns, though. And a nice mark. Is taken on a very sharp angle, though. But he'll have a shot on goal. And I think it's at one of the Hebleys that's taken it.
Gus?
Gus, it is. Yep, so Gus. I think he can kick around the man on the mark. He looks like one of those players, Glenn. So he'll come around the man on the mark and probably do a check side kick. Let's see what he can do. If he nails this one, it brings them back into contention, one would think. Hebley. Looks not too bad off the boot, but goes a little bit too far. But the mark is taken, picked up by the captain, I should say the coach there.
Bo Walker,
who tried to handball it inside the corridor. And I think a free kick has gone the way of, let's see what's happened here. Is it DeLacy? No, looks like it's gone back to Walker because Walker took the mark and he tried to play on. Yeah, now he'll go for the check side kick. So Bo Walker, let's see what he can do. He's pretty close quarters and he nails it. Bo Walker has scored a much-needed goal for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, so Bo Walker lucky to perhaps get out of that one, but he did, and he got a very important goal. So they keep in touch. They're still a little bit off the track yet. They've got 3 or 4 goals to catch up, but they did very well. And Bo Walker took the mark. They made hard work of it, as they do. They seem to, don't they, a little bit. Matt, don't you think they seem to overuse the ball a little?
Yeah, I think both teams today have shown and quite keen sense of using the ball, perhaps overusing it at times. Towns in particular, it seems to be that one pass or one kick too many, a fumble, and then it seems to go the other way. But
it causes the turnover, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when they do that, gentlemen, is when they can't see any opportunities up front, so they try and hold on to a little bit longer until those opportunities become fluid, I think. And it hasn't been happening as often as it should. But they are the woes for Towns at the moment. Can they overcome them? And the final stanza here, brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Ball going back the way of Forrester. He's been one of their best this afternoon. Nice kick down the corridor. The bounce isn't kind for Towns, or is it? Moving forward now is the little speedster, and he's certainly been part of Towns for a long time now, and I'm talking about Will Faithful. He gets it away to Hebley. Hebley onto his boot, but he goes across the face of goal. Player running onto it was a little bit behind the 8 ball, going through for the minor score.
So Railways get the ball back into play. 46 plays, 32 on the Adam Hunter accounting scoreboard. Ball comes back the way of the Blues. Railways player in Giltro feeds a handball out. Goes there looking for a teammate in Iaria. He gives it to Ryan. Ryan kicks it up towards centre wing, but Bo Walker uses his talent and strength to take a good mark. Gets it the way of Drew Forrester. Forrester goes by hand to Drew McGregor.
Oh,
that was a ridiculous bit of play.
Bit of contact.
Very late, wasn't it?
That should be 50 metres, one would think. The umpires are looking at it now. The ball's gone downfield. Teddy Kerr came in a little bit late there. So we'll see what happens as the ball... But a mark has been taken,
Jace Price was the one that gave the free kick away.
Oh, it was Jace Price. I apologise, Ted. Didn't think Ted would do something like that, or Jace, for that matter, but it happened. So the ball is down ground now, and it's with Leon Jones then, so he's going to have a shot on goal anyway.
He's kicked three, so we know he can kick goals. And can this give them the spark they need? Leon Jones, he is 35 metres out, directly in front, kicking to the southern end. Still plenty of time in this game, only 7.5 minutes gone in this quarter for GT Russell Chartered Accountants as Leon Jones shoots towards goal.
Yes.
He's got his 4th of the afternoon, and the game is well and truly back on here at Adam Hunter. A scoreboard and a good bit of play and a bit of fire coming back into this contest.
Matty, have Rowers taken off their foot off the pedal a little bit too early?
It certainly seemed that way. I still think the pressure's quite high, but Towns have, I suppose, embraced being behind, and they're really taking the game on now. You can see Bo Walker get his influence off the half-back and in the centre line, really looking to go corridor to try and ease that access into the forward 50, and at the moment it's working, albeit with a 50-metre penalty there, but results are results, and at the end of the day, there's less than 10 points in it.
Special comments from Matthew Paddock here this afternoon. It's 8 points in it here at the Recreation Ground. Drennan O'Malley game day 6-10 Railways plays Town 6-2. Town scoring the last 2 goals. They've been attacking pretty much most of the final term. Well, the early parts of it, the first 10 minutes, that's for sure. Adamini, nice big kick into the full forward area, and there he is. He takes a nice strong mark, and Flynn Dillon, he can't be outmarked, he can't be outmuscled. He's going to have a shot on goal. As I said earlier, Matt, just a passage of play can turn things around. Let's see what he can do. He's outside the forward 50. It's a big kick. Is it strong enough? It gets the distance, but comes off hands and through for the minor score. But he certainly is having another great season, Glenn.
He certainly is. Adam Hunter scoreboard. Railways are 6 goals, 11-47. Towns are 6 goals, 2-38. So we've got a 9-point ball game in favour of the Blues. Towns are desperate for the next goal, keep themselves in this contest. Picked up again by Bo Walker, running himself hard in this quarter, trying to lift his side. Ball goes the way now of Jay O'Brien. He's on the receiving end, on half-back, goes with a short pass, gives it to Cameron Hoffhammer. Hoffhammer with the ball. Caleb Sewell is the player that started all this process. Ball goes the way there of DeLacy. He's got 2 to beat, but he's good enough to beat him today.
And he did beat him both.
He sees the ball across the boundary line. So the ball to be brought back into play. Towns need to have a few without error. They need to go forward on a few occasions. They haven't done that on too many occasions this afternoon. They've been able to turn the ball over with an errant kick or an errant housing ball. Ball comes the way of Flynn Dillon. He took the ball, and he was very lucky to get away with that because he took the ball back because he was trying to take possession. So he has to be very careful of that. Ball comes back into play. Once again, Shiozaki does well. He slaps it forward. Goes the way there of Forrester. Forrester gets a handball out. Ball spills. And it goes the way of Mitchell Boyle. Mitchell Boyle gets the ball forward. And a good mark taken by the Railways player there.
Interesting there. The players just all stood back. I think they thought the whistle had gone, Glenn, because Boyle just weaved through the pack pretty easily, didn't he?
Goes the way of Sean Fletcher, but the ball was behind him. Put Fletcher under pressure. Goes the way of the player there in Price. Comes back towards Kimberley. Kimberley goes backwards towards Boyle. Boyle goes backwards towards Tunbridge. Tunbridge goes back towards Kimberley. And it's a keepy off as Fancoat gets the ball forward. But his kick is turned over, and Towns can back something up now. Towns have it. They run out of the defence. Kick it high, wide and handsome, but there's nobody home there for the Bulldogs. And a good mark taken by Drew Tunbridge.
Drew Tunbridge, one of the best defenders in the competition. He's won a few medals at the Railways Club, fairest and best. As it goes to the outer side, and the ball's with Kimberley coming inboard now. He's looking for Bunter, equal to the task. Bunter plays on now. He gets rid of it just in time into the half-forward area. A bit of a push and shove by the defender for Towns. He's playing at both ends of the ground. Here's the player there in Bo Walker. The ball goes to ground, and the umpire blows his whistle. And a free kick will go the way of Towns, and it's Drew Forrester. He gets it out of danger. Players don't have their wits about them, or do they? This player does, as he continues to bustle forward in Jay O'Brien. The ball is bottled up somewhat, and the umpire will come in to relieve the pressure. Right in front of our broadcast position for Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. And Glenn, we are going to WA Country Builders Stadium next week for a very special occasion.
We are, yes. 50 years since Towns won their first grand final. In 1976, they had a 4-point victory over Northampton. That's who they're playing next week, and that'll be our Drilling O'Malley Motors game day as the past greats of the Towns and Northampton Footy Club come together.
The side minus some that have passed away, Glenn. I think I haven't got the exact number. I think about 14 or 15 of them, and 96, about 100 people at the dinner next Saturday night.
Yeah, it'll be a wonderful night, and Towns, of course, they've won a lot of grand finals since, but that was the one that broke the drought and set them to be one of the power clubs in the competition, particularly over the last 20 years.
And, of course, Peter Swarbrick, didn't he kick the winning goal?
He did,
it?
Yeah. So he was just out here, just in front of us, and he kicked it against the breeze and kicked the goal from a long way out against the breeze in the grand final.
He's one of the big organisers for next weekend's event. It looks like it's going to be a real great occasion.
It certainly will. And Northampton still rue the day because they lost 5 grand finals from that period right through till 76. They lost 5 grand finals since 1965 through to that grand final in 76. So they were expected to win, and they didn't. As the ball goes the way of Sean Fletcher,
good kick.
And he's probably put the final nail in the coffin now. If there was ever any doubt, Sean Fletcher, he can kick a goal, that man. And Sean Fletcher gets his second goal of the afternoon. And if there was ever any doubt,
Shot
Railways...
from Mr. Football, Glenn Barndon.
Yes. So Railways looking on target to win this game as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton. And we can tell you at three-quarter time up there at Mullawar, Brigades, 21 goals, 12, 138. Lead Mullawar, 2-2-14. So another big win coming Brigades' way.
Interesting,
and another
Glenn,
big loss
today
to
on
Mullawar.
Footy Forum, you made some comments. You had some emails or messages that came in about the state of the Mullawar Football Club and some of the factors affecting the state of the club. What's going to happen going forward, you think?
Well, they're under pressure because they've lost 5 of their league players to the North Midlands in recent weeks. And that's certainly putting their club
and
at
money being the factor, I reckon.
It is, yeah. Big money being played for Mullawar players, and Mullawar, of course, the club is not in a position to be able to compete with those other clubs in the North Midlands who have a lot more money than the Mullawar Footy Club. The ball comes the way now of Jesse Adamini. He feeds it out to Ryan. Ryan kicks it in towards half forward, finds Giltro. Giltro breaks across the 50-metre line, shoots towards goal, looking there for a teammate. Ball spills, goes the way of Messina. He goes by hand to Kimberley. Towns in a bit of bother now, but they can knock the ball forward, or can they? In goes the Railways player, tries to break the tackle, puts his head down. Umpire said nothing in that. And umpire Starling will come in and throw the ball up about 25 metres from goal. As the scoreboard looking like Railways have done enough. Looking on the Adam Hunter scoreboard, it's Railways 7-11-53. They lead Town 6-2-38. We've played 16 minutes in this final term with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants as Railways surge towards the boundary line. And once again, the boundary umpire comes in to throw the ball up.
So Rovers having another win today, Glenn, is going to ensure that they stay pretty comfortable on top of the premiership table. But Railways are keen to make sure they have a strong opposition, and by winning this game today, they are continuing to push up behind them pretty tightly.
Yes, so Rovers are 2 games clear, but Railways are right behind them. And Brigades pushing up too. They're pushing right up towards Railways now.
50-metre penalty going the way of Towns now, so they're going to bring the ball right down the ground.
So Towns would have gone into the top 4 if they won today.
Yes, a vital game, important game for them. We see Hebley now with the ball into the full-forward area. Hebley to Hebley, it almost was. Over the back of the pack it goes. The defence, Titchburn getting the ball over to Clarkson. They work together too, those 2 gentlemen, in the phys ed department there at Nagle Catholic College. And there is Mitchell Boyle. And he does a nice little vice-like tackle on his younger opponent there, bringing him to ground. But no free kick. The ball going the way of Railways now. Flynn Dillon knocks it down, get to the Fletcher, back to Flynn Dillon off the handball of Messina. Dillon, probably BOG again today, but I don't have that job. But he gets it to Giltro. Giltro didn't decide to run. He put it onto his boot, into space. Running onto it is the forward who dives on top of it, and that's his brother. Giltro to Giltro. And he's got 2 to beat, and the ball is bottled up. The umpire hasn't blown his whistle. He's gone in now.
No, he's blown the whistle. He's going to throw the ball up.
Okay, the ball's about to be thrown up in the shadows of the goals at the Augusta Street end. Railways could put it away now, and for good, as the ball goes the way of the boundary, and it will be thrown in. So we're going to WA Country Builders ground next week. But Glenn, the top of the table, I should say, the premiership table is really open between the teams at the top and the bottom now, but the final 4 is going to be one that's quite interesting, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because Chapman Valley lost last week to Brigade, so it lost badly. Towns have had some good wins along the way, so the margin now is still going to be interesting because Towns and Chapman Valley will play later on in the season. They only play each other twice. They've played once, and Chapman Valley won the first game, and it really could even come down to that. Whoever wins that game could end up with the 4th spot unless Chapman Valley finds some form soon.
So things that stay alive. Matty Paddock, special comments this afternoon. Matty, Town's probably not going to win this game this afternoon, but can they take some positives away from this encounter?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they can take away that they've got another gear in terms of the speed at which they play the ball. At times today, they've really looked to move the ball along quickly, whereas we all know Towns is that precision kick mark team, but they've shown that they can change their gears. So that's a positive, and it's something that I think the coaches should consider going forward because they look good when they do it.
Yes, apologies. I dropped in a little bit early there. Glenn, Jalen Parsons, would he have changed the face of the game today much?
Probably not. He would have helped, that's for sure, because he's a good noted goal scorer. But I think Leon Jones has done a fair bit of work. But Leon could have played up the ground. That's the sort of thing. Leon could play around the midfield. He could even play in defence. But, yeah, it's an interesting contest. Towns, as Matt just mentioned, they do play a defensive style of footy, and they use the ball when they do use it well.
A free kick going to
Giltro
now, and Darcy Giltro. He'll have a shot on goal, and he's going to kick from about 30 metres, 25 to 30 metres, then directly in front.
He's already kicked two, Darcy's already kicked two.
He's a pretty good dead-eye dick, I'd say.
So 30 metres out, and extending the margin for the Railway side. So Railway's second on the premiership table to Rovers after today's game, as they were last week.
We missed it. Darcy's
offline, 1 point only. And on the scoreboard for Adam Hunter, the accountant, we can see that Railways are 7-12-54. They lead Town 6-2-38. We're into time on in this final quarter with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Once again, Flynn Dillon takes them on. He slips over at the crucial stage. Ball comes out, goes the way of Mitchell Boyle. Mitchell Boyle throws boot to ball, kicks it high up into the air. Ball running free. Picked up now by Blake Bunter. Bunter puts it on his left boot, kicks it into the half forward flank, looking there for Giltro. And the ball is held to the Towns player. And we'll see the ball thrown up right on the boundary line as we see McGregor and Giltro getting themselves up off the ground. Ball thrown up, picked up again by Flynn Dillon, who grabs the ball with his strength, kicks the ball forward, up towards full forward, looking there for Jesse Adamini. Adamini puts a handle on it now, gets a handball forward, looking there for a teammate. But the good bit of play there from Bo Walker puts good pressure on the Railways player. And the Jace Price was quickly gobbled up. And once again, another ball up just in the 50-metre line.
64 plays 38 in favour of the Blues, but Forrester, he's been working hard all game today and continues to do so as the ball comes out of defence, but quickly bottled up by the forward pressure by Railways. And, Towns keep on keeping on. Their defence has been the mainstay today, hasn't it, Matty?
Ball with Towns in defence, and the player with the ball is Simmons. He's been good this afternoon, Pete, as he gets the ball forward. Goes the way, once again, of Railways. Messina feeds a handball out to Jace Price. Price kicks it forward, only as far as Bo Walker. Boy Walker feeds a handball out. Goes the way there of Rex Hebley. Hebley kicks it up, looking for brother Gus. Railways have the numbers. Gus Hebley goes back in on the ball. Player goes over the top of him. Umpire said he had the ball under him, and he'll come in and throw the ball up. Umpires this afternoon doing a wonderful job for Sandra Carr, MLC. Darren Bryce, Darren Forrester and Randall Starling. Free kick's been picked out. Goes the way of Flynn Dillon.
Take two, Matty Paddock. The defence has been the mainstay for Towns today, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely has. Sorry, I got lost in the in the defensive setup of Railways there. Towns had no way out. But no, certainly Railways have had the majority of inside 50s today, I think it'd be fair to say, and their backline's really stood up, and it's guys like Hoffhammer, guys like Simmons who, in a forward line that's pretty tall for Railways, Towns have controlled the airways there.
We talked a little bit earlier on, Glenn. I've been thinking about it. We talked about Jalen Parsons. I asked you the question about would he have changed the situation today. But, I reckon he would have, because Towns, he scored a lot of goals in the context of matches so far this season for Towns. So I think not having him up there has made them feel a little bit so unconfident in getting the ball up front.
Yeah, but generally when they play good sides, they play a defensive zone, and it makes it very, very hard to get the ball up there. But, yeah, it gives you another option. And Jalen Parsons kicks 3 goals, means that Liam can kick a few too, doesn't it? So that, it evens out. You always miss player.
It is a convincing win for Railways. It is Railways 7-12-54. They've defeated Town 6-2-38. And you're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football. You're listening to the GNFL Match of the Day. Thanks to our sponsors, Melissa Price MP and Grant Russell Chartered Accountants. On Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.